All right, guys, welcome back to the Spiritual as Fuck podcast. I'm your host, Kiki Sita. I recently changed the name on YouTube to Visions for Humanity podcast because that is exactly what I see. So I have clients that come to me for psychic intuitive insight to read their energy field, take a look inside their chakras, what is happening right now with their energy, what are they currently navigating through, and then I channel from a higher power, from a higher vision, from a higher perspective, sort of an eagle eye perspective, working with their spirit guides and their higher self to give them insight. But I also see visions for humanity. Ever since 2019, I've been getting visions for the collective as to what we're going through collectively. And I have, because of my clientele, I have so many people that are like, I don't talk to anybody about this, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going through. And then I have all these people that are going through the same collective things. And I'm like, okay, we're not alone in this. And I've also seen visions of where we're going, what the future holds as far as like technology goes, healthcare, what our currency system is going to look like, all these things. I get so many visions for the collective of humanity and where we're going and how we're moving through this conscious birthing canal right now, how we're going through these rapid expansions in consciousness. And yeah, so this video is about the top 5 things that I have learned in 2025. If you set out to learn, if you had any, I hate to say New Year's resolutions. I don't like that term. I prefer intentions. So if you set intentions at the beginning of the year, or perhaps just as you're coming up to the close of your previous year, you're starting to already think about the intentions that you want for next year. And also, sometimes it doesn't happen in January. Sometimes it's not like a January 1st New Year's thing because technically our calendars are all screwed up. And technically, March is the New Year's. So I have had years where I don't feel like writing any intentions. I still feel like I'm finishing off loops from the last year right up until April, March. That's when I finally start feeling a new energy, a new frequency coming in. This year is different. This year, we are closing loops now. September is the ninth month. I talk about this a lot because it matters a lot. With the energies that are coming in right now, you've got the last quarter of this year, 2025, before we enter the year 2026, which equals one. So the year 2025 is all the year of nine. So it is all about closing loops and cycles and making sure that you deal with your shit, making sure that you face your demons, your worst fears, that you are cutting off the loops, closing the loops. And then you don't want to bring any of that baggage into the next year. So next year is one fresh new beginnings. Okay. All of the things that you've put into your vibrational vortex, all of the desires, all of the asks that you've been asking, and you can't, Abraham Hicks says you can't help but ask, because as you go through life, as you're dealing with contrast, as you're launching rockets of desire as to what you want, because you're in the face of what you don't want and you see what you don't prefer. What do you prefer? All those things that you prefer, that you think, I would like this instead of this, I want this instead of that. Those are all things that you are bringing into your vibrational escrow, into your vibrational vortex. And so those are the things. I see it as like a swirling sort of a tornado cloud around you, this vortex that starts to then funnel down and come down and materialize into this realm. And that's how all intentions work. So I set some intentions at the beginning of 2025. Some of those came to fruition, and other things were really unexpected. Other things kind of came throughout the year where I was in the middle of hardship. I was in the middle of the contrast thinking, this is not what I want. It was hard. It's these hard karmic cycles, these hard karmic loops that we are all experiencing every year. We experience these hard lessons. I want to share with you the top 5 things that I've learned in 2025. So, number one, the truth will always reveal itself. This last year, I had opportunities to take the high road and keep my mouth shut. I have always in the past been one to blow my top off really fast and hammer it on and just let people know exactly what I'm thinking. And if they're in the wrong, I will let them know and I will expose them. But this year, I sat back. And I thought, I'm just going to let the energy speak for itself. And I am going to do the emotional, vibrational, spiritual, energetic work behind the scenes to not only make sure that I remain in balance, harmony, and integrity, but that my light continues to radiate so big that, and taking the high road, that the dark and the corrupt will be exposed. And so that's exactly what I did. And the truth will always reveal itself. My mom always said, give people enough rope and they will hang themselves. So as long as you're staying in integrity, this will happen. And it will happen in both ways. Okay. So, yes, the corrupt and the darkness will all be exposed if you sit in integrity and if you are doing the vibrational and energetic work of going deep into meditation, surrounding your enemies in love and light, pushing out your light, radiating your light, making sure that you have good spiritual hygiene techniques and tools to make sure that your energy inside is clean. All right. Uh, so that will expose the dark, yes, but the truth will also be revealed in your light. And eventually, when you keep holding that light vibration, when you do not waver and you don't stoop down to that level, yeah, you can have some really hard conversations with people where you're like, this isn't right. And I was throughout this time, I was exposing people as far as like, you need to see what I'm looking at. Like, this is a full blown narcissist. And if you can't see this, like, here are the checklist. Like, take consideration of who your sources are. So, yes, I was doing that, but most of my work was not in fighting battles out there and going to war with people. It was more so doing the energetic work behind the scenes to make sure that my light stays bright. And that eventually was something that people saw. They can see that you're in integrity, they can see that you remain in integrity. And so, both ways, the corrupt, the dark, and the light and the truth, the energy will speak for itself now more so than ever because a lot of people are even unknowingly becoming more astute, more enlightened, more sensitive to energetic shifts. Number two, be okay with being the villain in someone else's story. So, especially as a manifestor in human design, if you're a manifestor in human design, you can definitely take this and lock it into your grid because you will resonate with this. You're different, and people are not going to understand what you're doing. In fact, it doesn't matter who you are. Your life is your unique blueprint, and not everybody is going to understand why you make the choices that you make and why you make the decisions that you make. And some people can only hold the perspective that they have in their mind. Some people only have a one way perception, they only have a one way opinion, and that's their own, and that's it. That's all they can see. But if you're a type of person that can balance many different perspectives at the same time, then you are able to see, okay, this person necessarily isn't the bad guy. Maybe they're going through this in their life and this is why they made the decisions. But a lot of people out there will not understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, and they will only see from their limited perspective. I had to make some hard calls this year, really hard calls that were going to affect my loved ones, my family, my friends. And I, at the end of the day, was so scared of being misunderstood. And I have always carried that wound of not wanting to be the bad guy. So I've kept relationships going. I've tried to soothe. I've tried to scratch the backs and bow out gracefully. But sometimes you just got to cut the head of the snake off and you just got to light a match and watch it burn. And you got to hope that you got to know before you do it that the light of the fire is going to illuminate your path of where you're going. But I have to be okay. I had to be okay with being the villain in someone else's story and in everybody else's story. I was like, go ahead, go tell everybody that your perception, go tell everybody your opinion about me, I don't care. Go tell my mom, go tell my friends, go tell your mom, write it on the internet. See if I care. I don't care. I am completely okay with being the villain in your story and whoever else is, because I don't need them to understand me. I don't need them to get what I'm doing because I know what I'm doing, because I am in alignment and I am in balance. And I can back that up because I've been meditating and I have been in truth and alignment and I'm getting my messages from my higher perception and my higher source. So I don't care. And I've done this once or twice before in my life. And I said, you know what? It's really not that bad, because years later, the people that misunderstood, the people that I really cared about hurting or being misunderstood by, actually came back into my life and found me on Facebook or found me on Instagram and said, like, hey, I was wrong about you. And they came back around. So it's really not that bad. You got to do what's right for you. So be okay with being the villain in somebody else's story. Number three, this goes back to feeling misunderstood. And if you are a type of person that is not here to fit in, you're here to change the world. Believe you me, you will be misunderstood. I talk a lot about manifestors in human design and how they are like the hull of the boat. In a boat, you've got the pointy end, that the hull of the boat that cuts through the waves. And 91% of people are going to be in the back, in the wake, and they're just cruising along in the wake. You're the trailblazer. If you're that person, if you're constantly pushing the limits, if you're constantly 10 steps ahead, you're moving in that direction before other people have caught up, they're going to misunderstand you. So don't take it personally, especially if you're a manifestor in human design. Know that this is part of your blueprint. It will never change, and you will fight it till you're dead if you try to resist the fact that you are meant to be misunderstood. If you're like, I am meant to be misunderstood, this is part of my blueprint, this is written into my DNA, this is written into my cosmic makeup, then own it. Fucking own it. Yeah, I'm going to be misunderstood because you don't get it yet, because I'm 10 steps ahead. And that doesn't make you better than anybody. It just is how your mind works. Okay. So if you're that person that is always being the trailblazer and you're the way shower, all light workers are going to be able to identify with this and resonate with this. If you're a way shower, you're a light worker, you see energy, vibration, frequencies, you see shifts in the collective, you see where we're going, you have a preemptive idea because you have an open third eye, you can see things before they happen. Most people are going to misunderstand you because you talk about energy, frequency, and vibration to the normies out there, and you realize just how many people have no clue what you're talking about. A lot of the normies that I talk to are like, yeah, like I just heard about this whole manifestation thing, like just, not that long ago. And I'm like, didn't that come out like 15 years ago when the book The Secret came out? Like, you're just coming online now to the idea of manifestation, let alone, downloading quantum codes and integrating them and recalibrating your DNA and becoming and changing your frequency and raising your vibration and changing your reality based on your thoughts, frequency, and vibration. Like, forget all of that. Lots and lots of people are just coming online to like the idea that manifestation actually exists. So be okay with being misunderstood. All right, number four. This is a fun one because ChatGPT is such a big part of everybody's life now, and because it came out this last year, 2025 was a huge year. Everybody started using ChatGPT, and ChatGPT does not resolve your problems on a deep inner level. So I use ChatGPT just like everybody else does. I don't like the inauthenticity of everyone's posts now with the long dashes. As soon as I see a long dash, I'm like, oh, ChatGPT. And it just feels inauthentic to me. I actually prefer the run on sentences, the poor grammar now, the things that don't quite line up and make sense. I appreciate the character and the authenticity of that now more than ever because it's so easy to put things into ChatGPT. But what I'm talking about is when you're using ChatGPT to help you understand certain things, it is a great tool for mirroring back to you. It is an unbelievable tool for labeling things and making sense of things happening on a psychological level to help you understand your traumas, to help keep boundaries, and to have everything kind of stay in focus for you. If you're a type of person like I am who gets very emotionally involved in things and then all I can see is my emotion, I lose sight of the framework of what I'm actually dealing with. I completely lose sight of all of that and I just get lost in the weeds. And so it's been a great tool to reflect back to me. This is what you're dealing with. These are the characteristics of the things. But there's been times in this last year where I have been so um deep in it. Like I am dealing with such big stuff that I need advice. I need help. And so ChatGPT has only taken me so far. And then I've noticed where I want to go back onto ChatGPT and I want more answers, but nothing that it's giving me is really hitting the spot. Nothing is really hitting the spot. And then I've gone onto YouTube videos and tried to, find YouTube videos on my exact situation. And then I get frustrated with that too because that's also not hitting the spot. The thing I will always say is that no one is going through your exact situation. No one carries your vibrational blueprint, your codes, your DNA, your unique fingerprint, blueprint of who you are. There is no replica out there. There's also no replica of your exact situation with all of the intricacies and the complexities and the factors and the people involved and the ripple effect that things have in your vicinity around you. Nobody is in that position. You can go onto YouTube and try to find people who are kind of sort of speaking to what you're going through, but it's not going to be your situation. You can go onto ChatGPT and get a generalized idea, but at the end of the day, it's really not going to hit. So at the end of the day, you absolutely have to shut all that down, shut it down, close your eyes and connect with source. Connect with your heart. Go deep inside, take inventory of what you feel, what you're going through, connect with your higher self, and get the advice from that. That is the only source that will speak to you the way that it's going to hit, the way that it's not only going to hit where you have these aha moments, but there's actually going to be a transcribing of your DNA. Your energy will shift because of that connection. So, as much as I've been guilty about wanting to plug into all these external sources and get advice and get answers and help, 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 no, it doesn't help. And it's not there to do that. It is a great tool for reflecting back to you, but it's going to meet you at a surface level. It's going to help you have some big epiphanies, but then you're going to have to dive deeper. And you can only do that by connecting through meditation and connecting to your higher self and your higher source. All right, number five, this is a really quick one, but this is talking about harm versus hurt. And I have never made sense of it this way. I heard it just the other day and I was like, that is one of my top lessons. So, harm versus hurt. Some things that are harmful to you don't hurt, but some things that don't hurt harm you. So, let me put it into perspective. Sometimes making really bad decisions feels really good in the moment. Let's say you go to the dentist and he takes your tooth out because your tooth has decay underneath it. Does that hurt? Yeah. Is it harmful? No. What happened to get that tooth decay in the first place? What happened to get that cavity? Were you eating sugar? Did it hurt? No. Was it harmful? Yes. So just because it hurts doesn't mean it's harmful. And just because it's harmful doesn't mean it's going to hurt. And you have to know the difference. You got to decipher between the difference. And that takes some foresight. So that takes some foresight to ask yourself, does this hurt now? Yes or no? Is this harmful to me? Yes or no? And this comes really, really into play when you're talking about boundaries. And this last September, I have been learning a lot about boundaries. People who took advantage of them or took advantage of the fact that you didn't have any or that you didn't have strong enough boundaries are going to kick and scream when you start to enforce boundaries. And it's going to look like hurt. They're going to say, "You're hurting me. Why are you hurting me? Why are you doing this to me? How evil are you?" But your boundaries are there not to, they might hurt, but they're not there to harm. They are there to protect you and to protect the relationship. So that deciphering was everything to me when it came to boundaries, that they might hurt, but they're not harmful. These are the top 5 things that I have learned this year that I wanted to share with you. And I want to hear what your guys' intentions are for 2026. So write them in the comment section. I'm going to be working on mine coming up here pretty soon. I'm going to be working with the energies of the collective, and I'll keep you guys posted on what the energies are. For now, as per my last video, the energies right now are still closing off loops. You have this last week of September to make those hard decisions, close off the loops, close your karmic cycles. And then you're moving into October, which is starting to then worm you up to what you want to manifest for the year 2026, because that is a big year. I am so excited. Every time that I write the date, I'm like, 5. It's still 5. I want to do the 6 already, but it's still 5. And I've never actually done that. Usually I'm going well into January, still writing last year's date, but I'm really excited for 2026. So I would love to hear from you guys. If you haven't liked this video, please like it if it resonates with you, and subscribe. This is a new YouTube channel that I've put up, and I'm working on getting my subscribers up there. So I really appreciate that. And I will see you next time.